Oh! Wow! Alright then, that was great for chapter 1. I think that was really fantastic. I think that's the start of something pretty incredible. I think they've got really something going on here. I think that's real nice. Scary. A little overly punishing on the death thing and expectations of reactions being what they are and all that, but I love an ungodly huge facility. Like, I love that whole concept. Like, right from Portal and Portal 2, I love an idea of a catacomb-like, endless industrial nightmare. It's fantastic. I think that was really good.
Oh. And there you have it. That was Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. Now, I'm certain that there's going to be an after credits thing, but before we get to that, what I would like to say about this is, because I know that a lot of people are upset about this company for a lot of reasons, and I get it. I think NFTs are stupid. And all the things about, like, whatever else happened with it are probably legitimate criticisms. But what I always try to remember is that a company is not one hive mind. There was clearly a lot of work and love that was put into this game. That's what I really want to emphasize. Look at these credits. These are all the people that worked on this game, the people that put time in. And I'm all about, like, if any of it was like not paying these people properly, that is awful. You should pay people what they're worth. But the problem with it, and I get the kind of like protesting it of things, but what it comes down to is these people that actually put in the time, they put it into something that I'm sure that they are very proud of. So I want to celebrate them for making the thing in the first place, the actual artists behind making it, as opposed to high-level executive decisions that may or not be stupid. I was wrong. There's nothing after the credits. I'm an idiot. So anyway, that's why I played it. I think it's still, like, there's a lot of really creative ideas. I think the developers have an opportunity to redeem themselves, because they do have something creative. There's a lot of inspiration from Five Nights at Freddy's. There's a lot of inspiration from SCP. I see that. I can see it with the prototype test 1077 or whatever it was. I can see that. There clearly is some underlying threads that you can see from other popular properties, and that's not a bad thing. It's putting a creative spin on it. All of creativity is just kind of like rehashing what has come before, but putting it in a new package, and there's clearly style here. Now, the chase sequence. God damn it, this is my biggest problem with chase sequences in general. You can have a chase sequence, and it can be fun and cinematic. But the problem with a chase sequence is it is inherently self-defeating. Always. I have seen so few well-executed chase sequences because the problem is you have so many cool things happening and the player can never look at them. You spend all this time, I saw out of the corner of my eye, like, the Lady Spaghetti crawling on a wall there, but if you take a second to look at it, you die. You ruin the experience because you reset. You don't have time to think on your feet, which is like the whole point. It's a reactionary thing, but the problem with chase sequences is if it's smart, it combines things that, you know, have been taught throughout the experience, but it's just like, man, just like the first Poppy Playtime, I probably cut out way more times than I actually died in that one. But anyway, it is what it is. I thought that was a really cohesive and very polished experience. I didn't think it was as scary as like the first one. It did have some moments of good like creepiness to it, but I think it was probably lacking in a lot of like the super grounded scare factor. And also, Sean was in it. Mr. Jacksepticeye himself was there, proud and Irish, extremely Irish, and I think that's pretty cool.
Here's what I think. Obviously, I was frustrated with it. That one, that's obvious. It was frustrating. And here's what I think was occurring is I'm fine with a story that unfolds, like, without revealing everything. I actually like that, and it's like, it's got layers there, and there's a universe that is, and you don't need to know all about it to be in there experiencing it, right? Right. But when you're telling that perspective from the person, the creators of this game, knowing all the answers, you don't necessarily know what someone who doesn't know all of the answers needs to know to still feel connected to it, right? So when you come from a perspective where you know absolutely everything that there is to know about the story and all the intricacies and how things connect together, you don't have the same perspective as someone who does not know all of that stuff. And that's not to say how the gameplay elements sometimes feel disconnected from what you're doing and why the story's unfolding that. Like the mechanics of the gameplay and the puzzles and things like that, how they can feel frustrating in terms of repeatability and also like, a complete disconnect from what's supposedly occurring. This kind of like hiding in the shadows things, I get that. But at the same time, it basically on the text on the screen, it gives you a tutorial of how to play that mode when no prior point of the game had done something like that. So the final encounter had that text because I'm willing to bet they were like, oh, people aren't gonna know what the fuck they're doing, and they gotta figure it out. They even had to do a mini tutorial of like, hey, go to that side room and see what happens. It literally said see for yourself, and it's like, oh, the steam. Oh, okay. But if you hadn't seen all those messages like I hadn't, you wouldn't even know about the flare gun revealing the truth. And so what you get is there is an interesting story here, and I actually can connect with like, oh man, that's fucking, oh man, everyone dying, like the toys rebelling for some reason. Okay, I can get to that. Even the most out there extraordinary universe with the craziest things occurring, you can get into, and I wanted to get into them. I think like that part of it is very interesting. I think it was bogged down because there was that fundamental disconnect between the gameplay elements and the monotonous puzzling and what felt like padding for time, really. Whereas you had this nice setting of like, okay, play care. This is weird, but I like it. It's interesting, and yet it still felt very disconnected. Even though it had the opportunity to really like unify everything with the story, and there was like that through thread going there, but the gameplay elements just felt so clunky, and that they were there for the sake of being there as opposed to anything else. And I can totally see like, okay, these are skill building moments of these puzzles, of using the different hands to get to this final confrontation, but the final confrontation didn't hold any meaning for me. It really didn't. I couldn't tell what Catnap really wanted, like leave play care or I'll kill you. Tons of opportunities to kill you and didn't. And then here in this last moment, it's like, okay, I'm having a final confrontation with Catnap. Why? Why was it? Why did it get there? So anyway, that's what I would say to that. I think it's, if our teacher said anything, it's to look forward and not back. This could have used some looking back. This absolutely could have used some looking back. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Like I said, you can get into any story being told. I'm not trying to say that the story is wrong. I'm totally down with it. Horrible play toy manufacturer. Fuck yeah, let's do this. Scary big cat. Okay. Righty ho. The daytime critters. Sure. Why are they being killed versus everything that killed everybody? I don't know. Why is the dog dude being half-eaten there and then the little things crawl inside him and take him over or something? I don't know. I don't know. I'll never know. I will literally never know. But that's what I'll say about that. It's a frustrating game. It is a frustrating game with some fun moments and interesting things happening, but just so bogged down by frustration.
That's all I'll say. And there you have it. Poppy Playtime 4. So, there was a lot of things in this to like. What I think there might have been an issue with was there was so much exposition. So much of that was me going, I don't know exactly how much, but it wasn't even like incorporated into it where it was happening while you're playing and moving. Every single time there was exposition, you had to stop, look at it, and just wait until it was done, because it was source audio, so the audio was coming from the screen, so you had to stay there if you wanted to hear it. And yes, I want to hear the story, but also at the same time, it's like not even trying to get into the gameplay. And the thing about having each tapes tied specifically to a VCR, just very strange, you know what I mean? But that's a gripe that I think I can get over. It's fine, it's just the way it is. I would say something that kind of gets away from the flow of getting into the story, but at the same time, it's still not too terrible in the grand scheme of things. There were a few bugs, of course, but you know, not that bad. The animation was great. Obviously it looked great, voice acting good. You know, I had no real qualms about any of that. I could nitpick things about the characters interacting with each other and like the way they are. I like Dowie, I like all of them, but you know, all in all, I think what is here is good, and yet it's just not quite what I think would make it a cohesive experience, right? And I think that's what I'm kind of, all the little nitpicks that I could say all come down to that, is there is a cool universe here, there is an interesting like through thread with the experimentation, and there's something that you want to know more about there at the heart of it, and there's some interesting characters that they've gotten some really good voice actors behind, but it's just not all landing. It's all kind of landing. It's stumbling a bit. So each time you feel like you're getting into it, you have something there pulling you out of it. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, this doctor, all right, cool. He's there from the beginning, kind of this omnipresent voice. Seems to be pulling the strings, much like, you know, many of the things here before. And then it's like, each set piece of getting to him, you kind of forget what was there before, because so many things are interjecting in between, which are also not quite landing. One of the biggest examples of that is like, hey, go talk to everyone here. I went up to everyone. No one talked to me. No one talked to me at all. There was no one there besides, you know, the critters. And maybe that was something that I was missing, but it was just like, I went around. And so when you get to the doctor and he's talking to you about these moral decisions, but then I realized I haven't made any decisions in this at all. There hasn't been an opportunity to make a decision or even contemplate the actions. There hasn't even been an opportunity for the other characters to really have those moments of crisis. I mean, they do happen. With Dowie's a little example of it, but even those characters, it feels like the things are happening to them at the same pace that it's happening to you, the player. And so it's all not quite landing, you know what I mean? It's just not quite where it needs to be the cohesive story that you want it to be, right? Or not even the cohesive story, because the story is what the story is, and people tell stories and you have to kind of like make leaps of logic to get there anyway. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the feeling of being in the universe and the feeling of being in this world here with these characters. And whether you emphasize with characters or not is like, that's up to writing and stuff like that. But it's almost like the game and the writing are like two sinusoidal waves that sometimes they are in sync with each other and they build the experience, but most of the time I feel like they're working at odds with each other. Neither of them bad by any stretch of the imagination, except for a few segments, but not always working with each other. You know, it's not working against each other intentionally, but it's not making that cohesive in one stream kind of feeling, which, you know, it can deviate every once in a while. Nothing's perfect, but I feel like there's a lot of really good things here, just that they're not connecting and they're not executing that feeling, and so you lose the feeling of it. You lose the feeling and then you have to build it back up, and it really does try to build it back up. There's great music, there's great cinematography, there's great animation. Animation probably the strongest point of all of this, but then you have to catch up again. You have to catch back up again. You have to catch back up again. You're like, oh, I'm getting into it. I'm gonna get into it. you know? And it wouldn't be so significant if it wasn't trying to take itself so seriously, which it is. It's trying to take itself very seriously. And I appreciate that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that is putting it in a constraint where the elements have to also take each other seriously, you know, and work with each other. And so you have to look at it from that scope, as opposed to something like Garten of BanBan, which is ridiculous from the get-go. It is absolutely absurd. There's a story there in the universe, and there's something to take seriously there, but most of the time, even in the game itself, it makes fun of itself. And that's fine. Well, that is what it is. But this is taking itself very seriously. It is doing its best, and it does this very well, to not step outside of its own universe and rules, which is like good because you got your own sandbox, but at the same time, not as cohesive as it could be. However, I do think it's better than Chapter 3. I think it's way better than Chapter 3. So, as much as it sounds like I'm just shitting on it, I'm saying this because I really wanted to get into it. I wanted to step into these shoes more. I wanted to feel more connected with the world, and it was right there most of the time. Well, it was either right there or right there, and it was like, I'm so nearly there, and there were a few times when I'm like, I'm there, I'm with it, I'm on board, there I go again. Man, oh, so close. You know what I mean? It's like, it was so close that I wanted to be more. I couldn't exactly tell you right now exactly what it would need to get there, but I think all of you know exactly what I'm talking about, or maybe vaguely what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, that guy did sound familiar. I'm sure he was from before. Yeah, you're right. That guy, that is the same voice. Totally. If only we hadn't killed him. Okay. Animation's good. I'm starting with the positives. I'm starting with the positives here, alright? Okay, bear with me. Animation good. Clearly, art quality, very good. The movement isn't quite as good. The mechanics, I don't find fun. The switching hands, probably there's an easier way to do it than just like the scroll wheel, which I was doing, I'm sure. But still, it's not even just that. It's that it is slow to do that. It is like, to switch is, it's slow, right? I see no reason that couldn't be instantaneous. Literally, just like make it fast, because the gameplay requires it to be fast. Why is the actual animation of it not fast? Anyway, whatever. This was a fucking mess. I am saying this because, and I have this policy, right? If it's the first game in a new series, if it's the second, third, I can be more forgiving of things finding its footing. This is chapter fucking 5, right? I should know the motivation very clearly. I should know where I'm going. I should know why I'm going to it. I should know exactly what the character motivations are. That one guy couldn't tell you why he was the escort this time around. As much as I like the hair girl, that was fucking random. As random could be, being like, hey, here's a cool set piece. It's now it's happening. Now is this fun. And it doesn't matter if that set piece is interesting. I liked the aesthetic of that a lot better. It was random. Why was that there? Just to be an obstacle. That's it. It didn't have any cohesion to the story. There was this, like, I missed, of course, some videotapes. But when you're playing a game, you should know why A is connecting to B and then C. And I'm sure that there might be some very thin threading between there if you get the VHS, but my fear is that there's not. My fear is that even if I had gotten all of them, there would be no threading, because I don't see how you could possibly justify going from where we were to where we ended up to leaving that place and it mattering nothing, right? Mattering nothing to it. Here's an interesting character, gone. This character's interesting, gone. This character's interesting to be around you for a bit, gone. Now, my worst part about this, for me personally, is
I don't know if the developers of this game think it's just their thing. We're the chase sequence game. We're the game of chase sequences. We are the chase sequence game. That was in the first one and people loved it. And then the second one, remember when Mommy Longlegs was chasing you? Oh, it was fucking nuts. Remember the third one when we put more chase sequences in? Remember the fourth one, the chase sequences. Maybe we'll tone down a little bit for the fourth. Fifth one, chase, 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 chase. I do not like my gameplay to be trial and error, right? It every time it did it, the stakes were lower, right? And that's really the issue that I have with it. From a mechanical perspective, a chase sequence is fine if it's well designed and it can be fun and it's like in a key moment where it's there and it makes sense. But the problem is this one, especially chapter 5, holy fuck. Half the entire game was chase sequences. And it just because it's doing them again and again, it suddenly has to introduce, oh, here's a new thing in here. A chase sequence is not the time to introduce a new mechanic. I don't even care if it's something as innocuous like, oh, decouple the train cars. It's like, to learn that the vast majority of people are going to die to that. And in a chase sequence, as I've said before in these games, as soon as you die, it loses all of its value. To do it again, to go through it and be like, oh, I remember how this goes now. Oh, I've learned this now. The whole point of a chase sequence is to be a climactic moment where the stakes are very high and you have to quickly think on your feet of all the mechanics that you've mastered through the entire experience that you've been doing it. And if you fail, it's your fault as the player. If you fail in that moment, it's your fault because you didn't apply the mechanics that you've been learning the entire fucking game. And it had that. I'm not even saying it didn't have that, but it's like, oh my God, enough! Enough. Tired of it. Tired of it. So tired of it. I'm so tired of it. And frankly, I think that there was like emotional core here that was trying to shine through. And it's like, I wanted to be in it, but by the time I got there, I didn't care. I just didn't care. And yeah, I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm grumpy. I'll admit that. I'm not giving this a number rating. I'm just saying thoughts. So put that bias into whatever you're taking in out of this. But I think that even if I wasn't hungry, I'd be saying the same things, but nicer. I would be saying the same things, but nicer. Cause I don't think that I am going to play the 6th. I truly just don't want to. So I'm not going to. I think this is it for me. Poppy Playtime, thank you for your time. Thank you for my time. And thank you for all of this because man, I just do not have it in me to continue slogging through this. And if I'm coming out of a game saying, wow, I slogged through that, might be time to reevaluate a couple things. All right? So this is the end of Poppy Playtime for me. I don't know how many more fucking chapters they're gonna go through, but hey, more power to you. I hope it's better next time. I won't know, because I'm not gonna play it.
Oh, that wouldn't be so significant if it wasn't trying to take itself so seriously, which it is. It's trying to take itself very seriously, and I appreciate that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that is putting it in a constraint where the elements have to also take each other seriously, you know, and work with each other. And so you have to look at it from that scope, as opposed to something like Garten of BanBan, which is ridiculous from the get-go. It is absolutely absurd. There's a story there in the universe, and there's something to take seriously there, but most of the time, even in the game itself, it makes fun of itself. And that's fine.
Oh, I see. Oh, good. That was great. I thought that was great. That was fantastic. The Garten of BanBan. Of BanBan. The Garten of BanBan.
Really good. Really good stuff. Really high quality stuff. I like that a lot. I like that so much. I can't wait for Garten of... too loud, get out of here. I can't wait for Garten of BanBan 2. I knew you'd snitch. I sure did, I sure did, I sure did snitch. Okay, so I gotta say, there were some fun moments. It's like Garten of BanBan 1. There were some fun moments, but I feel like this one was mixed in with a little more tedium than even the last one. I liked what they were going for with the quizzing. I get that, but it was such a pain in the ass to restart that it became, I don't know, it felt like things were there just to be there. Like the cannon puzzle didn't make any sense thematically. I know the cannon was used before, but it's like, why am I on a beach? There's not even pirates here. And it oftentimes just felt like things were there for the sake of being there. There were many times when I feel like with some polish, this could be something very special. But I'm not gonna fault it too much because clearly a small team trying to make something. I never fault anyone for that. I liked that. I liked that a lot. I was utterly confused for the vast majority of it, but I really enjoyed that. It had moments that made me laugh. It had some decent jump scares that I felt were, well, it had some undecent jump scares, and it has some creative bits there. I liked that. I liked that a lot. That was such a vast improvement from this to the second one. And the first one, of course. I think this is the best of the bunch so far. I think that they're getting better. Sometimes it was still a bit slow and obviously it's still rudimentary, but I can forgive that. I've always been able to forgive that about these types of games because they're just made by a very small team of just either a couple people, you know, just like not that many people. You just got Geppo and Ferris. Just, that's it. I think it's well done. Really cool stuff.
And there you have it. Apparently. And I just have to point out, like, some things in this game are incredibly fun and really make me laugh, and I think it's intentional. It's not just I'm laughing at stupidity here. There's things that I think the developer knows are funny, and I like it. Each one of these is getting better than the last in terms of, like, crafting it, right? They're still a little rudimentary. But also, there's just such a such a fantastic, fascinating inattention to detail. That's how I have to explain it. There's such an inattention to detail, and nothing explains it more than this screen right here. Because we just played Garten of BanBan 4. This says Garten of BanBan 6. And I was just like, God, it's so clear, and all of this, like, there is both so much effort put into it, and also so little. It's just, it's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. I love it. Unironically, I'll defend Garten of BanBan. I defend Garten of BanBan. I defend it. I defend it. I defend it! Man, that was fun.
And there you have it! Garten of BanBan! Amazing. Incredible. Outstanding. Outlandish. Bold. Brash. Uncredible. Who is that guy? Doesn't matter. Infallible. Doesn't even need patches. It's perfect from the get-go. Amazing. Thank you everybody so much for watching Garten of BanBan 6. Get ready for Garten of BanBan 7 coming at you very soon. And then 5 whenever it decides to mythically release. For some reason. You expecting some closing thoughts? No, I don't have any. You saw what I thought. I said what I thought, and I thought what I said. It had some fun puzzles. It had some good scares, oddly enough. And hey, it's getting better. Still a bit sluggish in terms of the progression, and some of the travel between areas is unnecessarily large, but that's okay. And that's it! The thrilling conclusion! Alright, so, wow. Really branching out, trying new things. I loved the cinematic ending there. Mwah. Masterpiece. Incredible. Cannot wait for Garten of BanBan 8. It's gonna knock all of our collective socks way off. You'll never find him again. I don't know. I've been saying this after each one of these, but it's just like, it's got some charm. I don't know. It's just got charm. It has a personality. It has a style. And every single time that there's a new version of it, they're trying something new. And I just gotta respect that. I gotta respect it. You have to respect it. You have to. You have to. All right. Either way. There's probably a secret in here if you get the puzzle correct, if you actually recorded it or something on your phone, maybe. I'll never be able to go back for sure, but hey, wish list this game for the next one to come out. Oh my god. The last ticket to the abyss? Oh my god. Oh man! What a work of art. What an incredible experience through and through. Every time I finish one of these, I just go, wow, that was Garten of BanBan. There's no other way that you can explain it other than that it is Garten of BanBan. Don't know if this is royalty free, but hey. Never mind! It's great! I just gotta say, as much as I get frustrated for how the game goes and how the things intentionally slow down and do things too many times, I can't help but walk away from every game that I've played appreciating how much it's improved. Like, okay, it's been a couple years. Like, I know you're married to the art style, but like, okay, it could improve a little more. But I mean, even so, I love it for being a small team and facing all of the negativity that came with it and everything that everybody said. I love this art, by the way. This is great style. I think that if there was ever like a remaster of this game and with this style, there could be something here. But what I'll say is this: I am so very about you guys doing your thing, the weirdness, the story. I don't have any qualms about the story. I don't have anything to say about the story. Nothing about that. Nothing at all. It's weird. I don't understand half of it, but I can tell there's something big trying to happen here. And clearly there's something to it, right? There's something, that's funny. There's something here, right? But please, it's now game 7, which is actually game 6. It's time to start optimizing the game portion of it. Really, truly, honestly. And as much as I would like to say, oh, the jank of the games and the repetition of it is part of the style, I can appreciate that. I can. But I have to say, by now, at this point, it really needs to start to smooth out. Because you've gotten to this point where, like, the charm is here, and I love that you've got this artist here, this, like, concept artist working on different designs of this, and I think you could evolve this. I think you could then hire a modeler to remake all these models, and if the next one had a visual jump, even if it wasn't the same models, I know you're kind of married to that, but then like evolve that a little bit, iterate upon it, elevate it just a little bit. It doesn't have to do a lot, but elevate it a little bit more each time in terms of the style and then the gameplay. It's really legitimately going to be so well received. I promise you that people will appreciate that effort to go into elevating it a little more. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad right now because it clearly has a style. But given that it's game 6 of this series, it needs to start progressing. Not in terms of evolving like the rest of it. I'm not talking about like changing the entire formula or changing the story. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like the little things about how the puzzles are repetitious for no other reason than to pad time. They are. Let's be clearly frank about that. Some of them were, 3 in a row, and then that last one was 4. It's just to pad the time. We all know this is true. There are ways that you can optimize that game part of it to make it more fun and more integrated into it And it doesn't have to be big sweeping changes. Little iterative changes would be great to innovate on the formula that you have and to elevate it. Also, here's a little attention to detail thing. Why did the music stop before the credits were done? I know the song was written to be the song, but then have the credits go a little faster or double stack them here so that the timing would line up thing. It's like, that's all I'm asking for, really, is a little more attention to detail. That's all I really want. And I can see you got a big cast for all this stuff. Actually, this is pretty impressive. So you're doing a lot. I know you're doing a lot. I'm not saying you're not doing a lot. I really appreciate it. But I will start expecting a bit more. After this one, 6 games, I'm going to start expecting a bit more out of this. Okay? All right. Cool. That's all I have to say. Okay. Thank you. I love the series. I really do. I love it, and some things frustrate the hell out of me, but I really respect what's going on here. Unironically. There's been a lot of irony going into, playing this and a lot of people talking about it. But I want to say straight up, I unironically appreciate what you're doing. And I think it's really cool. I think a lot of people could take something from this. And, hopefully be inspired to make their own things without being worried about everyone hating it.
Guess what? That's just gonna have to wait for another episode because I literally couldn't have cut that last night closer than I did. So I'm lucky enough to have won it when I did. I'm very happy, and I will save whatever the hell is in the 6th night for another episode. You're just gonna have to wait on that one till I can play it again. But either way, oh my god. This is easily the scariest game I've ever played, but unfortunately, after a while, after playing it for like a few hours, it does grow a little old on you, but it's amazing how the tension is still there. It's a fantastic horror game. It plays on every one of your paranoid delusions. Paranoid, not paranoid, but either way, it's so good. Oh, I don't know how they're gonna expand on the concept, but either way, they are awesome. Whoever made the Scott Cawthon, it's amazing how this game transitions between panic and more panic. It goes such a smooth trajectory from absolute utter terror, which there still is some of, to absolute utter panic. Like everything is wrong all the time, but it's still really awesome. This is a big improvement from the first one. Not that the first one was bad, but I really love how they expanded in different directions in this one. And it's just a nightmare. I don't know why it needs to be this hard, but there you go. All right, then. That was really silly. But either way, this was a really interesting thing. And I say interesting more than like fun or terrifying or something. It was so interesting because of the animalistic curiosity that it brought out from the entire gaming community. Like, people can say whatever they want about the game itself. It's not scary, it's scary, it's terrifying, it's not terrifying, whatever. It's a bad game, good game. Doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that it brought about so much discussion and so much curiosity. It was the exact right balance of terror and curiosity, the diving into what scares you most to find out the truth. And that's kind of something admirable about humanity in general. Not that there was any danger in reality, but just the fact that so many people, like, who hate horror games played this just because they wanted to know, and so many people still want to know, just like I do, what the hell happened in that first restaurant? Or why in the first place all of these horrible things happened, and what could have possibly been done? Because Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was a prequel, but it was not the first restaurant. These animatronic suits that had the toy versions made of them came before. There's a mystery back there, but I don't think this series needs another game. One of the best parts about this entire experience has been the mystery and the solving it through just observation and understanding and finding secrets. And I guarantee you, there are more secrets in here than have been revealed in just this video. So keep an eye open. There might be more down the road, but for right now, for me, and for you guys that have joined me for this entire adventure, the millions and millions of you that have watched these videos, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I just want to have some closing thoughts about Five Nights at Freddy's 4. This was a phenomenal successor. I love the direction that Scott took with this game. The change from video to audio is genius. Like, well, maybe not genius, but it's great because of what I was talking about in like the first few episodes. The little moment of apprehension every time you go up to a door, every single time you are able to feel this sense of, I don't know, you know, it's that feeling, literally. It's the feeling of, I don't know what's gonna happen. I do not know if I'm gonna die, but I am forced to act. And if I don't act, I will die. I have to act to save my life, and I have to do it right. That is really, really cool and a really unique take on it, and it makes the formula, which is the same, it's the same formula, you know, trying to survive from animatronics coming to your door, but it takes that formula and it presents it in a new way. It is great. Now, I could have some critiques about these animatronics in that maybe they're a little too horrific, you know, there's a point at which, oh my god, he's so vicious. Holy hell, look at that guy. Ugh, Nightmares is his name. So there was Nightmare Fredbear, and that's just Nightmare. So I don't know how this fits in with the lore. I will leave that up to the game theorist, you know, Matt Pat. I'll leave that up to a whole bunch of people to debate the lore of this. But this was a great addition to a great series of games, and to be honest, there may be DLC at it, and I want to see how that uncovers more of the story, and I do not know what 2020 mode will add to the story. I will find that out, I promise you, but for now, I like to say I had a great time playing this. There were some serious scares. Almost every single time a scare happened, it got me. Like, you know, in the last few games, I became numb to it after a while, but even up until the last episode, this episode, it still got me. And you may say one way or another about jump scares, but jump scare is only good if the level of apprehension comes before it, and knowing that the jump scare is a result of your actions as opposed to randomness. That's good. That's when it's good. And the atmosphere and the music and the sounds, all great. I love this game. I really hope you
I'm gonna get through these credits, but, you know, I might as well take this moment to say that this game is phenomenal. I love it. And a lot of people probably are like comparing it to the old Five Nights at Freddy's, but I think this is exactly what the series needed. A paradigm shift in what it is, while still keeping the creep universe that it's in. I think it captured like the essence and the feel of Five Nights at Freddy's, as opposed to anything else. You know, the other ones tried to replicate the formula, but this one broke the mold and yet kept the feel of it, which is wonderful. I love this game. I want to recap and say that this is probably one of my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's games, besides the first. The first will always hold a special place in my heart, but this one, it's just really cool because of what it offered, what it felt like to play it. Now, I do have some very legitimate criticisms about it. But as far as like the secret ending with that other room, that was just annoying. Like, it was just annoying to have to go back through that stuff and waste like 3 minutes just to get back and make another attempt. That was annoying. Other than that, though, I loved it. Atmosphere was great. Voice acting was great. The semi-free roaming of it, obviously limited by the engine that it was made in, was still really good. I like that. It gave a new dimension to the game. The mobility of it, the fact that you're going somewhere, the fact that you're traversing an actual area instead of just watching it from the cameras, and yet at the same time it had that element of watching and observing as well, and it had the last game at the end there that literally was throwback to Five Nights at Freddy's, and a good version of it. I mean, only a one version of it, but it was still pretty good. It combined the listening of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 with the other mechanics of everything other that we've ever done. So, all in all, I'd say this is probably I don't know, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is still really good. So, I'd say this is probably the third best Five Nights at Freddy's so far. So, it goes number 1, number 2, and then this one. So, that's my ranking.
Certificate of completion? What other certificates are there? What other certificates? I want to know! Oh, I want to know! God, but that was really cool. I gotta admit, that was really, really cool. It was something that was different from the whole Five Nights at Freddy's experience as we know it, but in a way it fits so well. Like the simulator aspect of it, the weirdness and the funniness, like, that's what it is. It's not like, these games aren't like solely divided into scariness and thrill and like mystery and theories. It's a mixture of all of it, and that's what made Five Nights at Freddy's so magical in the first place, is that it was
a fun, satirical, dry humor, and it also was extremely terrifying, and it's that perfect mixture that always made Five Nights at Freddy's so wonderful. And this game really captured it, leaning more on the silliness, but actually leaning really heavy into the darker tones of it. It bridged this gap really nicely, and I really enjoyed that. But that is, I'm getting good at the game. I'm making excuses. It's fine. The game's fine. I'm fine. It's fun though. In a way, it's infuriating, but it is fun. So I just wanted to say. Of Five Nights at Freddy's VR, Help Wanted. An amazing game. Really, honestly. Not just an amazing VR game, not just an amazing Five Nights at Freddy's game, but really fun. Like, I mean, the mystery, I wish it was better solved, but I guess people feel the same way about some of my videos. So, it was really fun. Like, a lot of fun. I always looked forward to playing this game because of how much fun I was having. Okay, let's tap out for a bit. Tap in for just a bit. Okay. So, that is Five Nights at Freddy's special delivery. It's the kind of game, sorry, I'm in shadow right now. It's the kind of game that you really gotta play to really appreciate it. That's really cool. It's a very interesting implementation of technology. I didn't expect it to be that cool. I really didn't. I've never played an AR game before in my life, but I could definitely see how you could get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And if you got a lot of people on your friends list, then you could probably send animatronics to go haunt their dreams. And that sounds pretty
interesting.
Cool.
Why did that happen? But it's a mystery for another day. I'm pretty satisfied with my experience in this game. Obviously, it was lacking polish, and I don't want to say it was missing like quality testing, because I'm sure there was quality testing, but clearly there's an extraordinary amount of bugs in this game. But I still got through it, and it still was in the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's what I caught most of the time. When I look past the bugs and whatnot, what you get is a glimpse into a universe that is really interesting and intriguing. And that's what Five Nights at Freddy's is all about. It's a universe that you want to know more of because it's so horrifying. Not horrifying like it's the scariest thing in the world, horrifying as if the idea behind the actual truth of the animatronics is literally horrifying. And you caught some of that. I think they could have done a little more, because it was so much that was hidden away and it was so much reliant on the jump scares and stuff, but something about the kind of distortion of Freddy once you got that voice box in him stopped, right? As soon as I got the voice box in him, he delivered those few lines that were super creepy, and I saw him going down a path of being like, oh, am I corrupting Freddy by putting all these other parts in him? And then that was just kind of lost. And I was like, I feel like there could have been something more with that darkness to it, that corruption of it, the kind of collection of all these other parts from the other animatronics and putting it into Freddy, but somehow that's not good. So, either way, it was fun.
I know. Wait, why didn't I get the one in 9? Whatever, it don't matter. Okay, so that is Security Breach Ruin. Now, unless I'm missing anything, and I don't think I am, I've seen everything that there is for this DLC to offer. And I'd say for free DLC, which if you didn't know, this DLC was free if you own Security Breach, that was pretty good. I think that the developers really wanted to show that they could make a cohesive, scary experience, even if it was extremely linear, but I think like making it linear and super linear was the best chance they had to get it out quickly, and I'm like, go for it, that's great. You just iterate upon the designs you already had, the level designs, and you just like modify some assets, you make some new animations. It's still a lot of work, but it's a lot better than trying to like fix the open world situation that was happening before. Not that they haven't done some improvements. I know that there's been quite a few patches since the last time that I played that have fixed things in Security Breach, and I do applaud them for that. I think this was a fantastic DLC minus the bugs of finding secret stuff, but that wasn't part of the main experience anyway. Good stuff. It is good to come back here. And I know it was really fun to meme on Security Breach when it first came out, but I wasn't joking when I said I thought positively of it after I was done playing it. It was aggravating at times, but it had charm. And I think that's why it's memorable, is because the people that playing it, they can overlook the bugs because so much love is clearly woven into the game at every level. There's so much detail put into this game, almost too much detail to the detriment, but because the love was there, it's just like, you know, cooking, and you can't have a good meal without love baked into it. There was clearly love, and love for the franchise, and love for Five Nights at Freddy's in general, and I think like that really showed, and that's what made it charming. It made choices, and sometimes the choices could be debated whether they were good or not, but that doesn't change the fact that there was still so much to see, and you could practically smell the detail put into the game, and that, you know, that takes a lot of work, and that takes a lot of dedication, and it takes a team that actually really cares about it. So I'd say this is good. Security Breach, when it came out, it was flawed, but it was a flawed gem, you know? It wasn't a turd that you polished, it was a gem that fell in the turd, you know? And you had to dust it off a little bit. Ruin embraces a turd. This analogy falls apart a little bit, but it was good.
But either way, that was fun. I had a good time. I had a great time. There's a few other mysteries here, probably, but I think they did a good job with the mini-games here so that they was actually interesting across the board. There was a little bit of repetitiveness here and there. But all in all, I had a good time. Sometimes it actually scared me. Like, legitimately scared me.
Another Five Nights at Freddy's game coming at you. It's interesting. Not much of a challenge, though. That's what I'm looking for. Where's the 20 mode of this?
What I'd say about this is, I think they took a lot of lessons from, what was it, Security Breach, right? So they took a lot of lessons from Security Breach. It was Steel Wool that still did Security Breach, right? Yes. God, that's so weird. That came out in 2021. That feels crazy to think about. But I will say this, and it's something I've been saying the whole game. There's nothing to say wrong about in terms of the game, the gameplay, the polish in it. Like I said, I think they took a lot of lessons from Security Breach in making sure that this one was executed properly. Well, it had like free exploration. There were a ton of puzzles there that I still am going to find, but I didn't, you know, get to just yet. And I think when you look at this from that perspective, it's great. It is. It's awesome. But, and I know this probably, I don't mean to keep being a needle in the heart of the people that worked on this, but it's not their fault at all. It's not all. It's my fault, if anything. There's something missing, you know? There's something missing from not the soul, the seed of it, the bedrock of it. There's something missing from the bedrock of it because, and I get what they're going for with the story, where it's like, this is the origin of all the animatronics, but there's only so far back you can go until you're so far away from what it was that it's no longer that anymore, right? And so this is kind of what that feels like. Whereas Security Breach, I love it because it almost feels like a completely alternate universe from Five Nights at Freddy's at all. Maybe that is what it is, but that's what it felt like. And that's okay. I'm great with alternate universes where that's cool. This might even be an alternate universe origin story. Okay, so with that being said, again, I don't want to harp on it, but this one, I miss it. You know, when you have your favorite food from your childhood or something, and you're eating it, and you've been looking forward to it for a long time, you haven't had it in years, and then you go to take a bite, and you realize that they changed the recipe, and it's not that it's not good, but it's not what you've really wanted, you know, and it sucks to say that, and it probably sucks to hear that, but it's true. I'm not going to be dishonest here, and I don't even know if there's any value in what I'm saying, but you know, I'm just speaking what I feel. So yeah, I think that's what I would equate it to. It's good. It is really well made. Like I said, the developers should be incredibly proud, and I hope they don't take anything from what I'm saying, because obviously I am not, as much as I joke about it, I'm obviously not an authority on anything that has to do with any of this. Oh, my entire USB, there. Get me, they heard what I was saying. But, you know, I want to see what the secret is. The secret of the mimic. I want to see. I do. There's so much that I owe to Five Nights at Freddy's. There is a lot. I never really understood why I was the FNAF guy, in a way. You know, it's funny. I don't think I've ever talked about this. When I was doing the first 20 mode, it was funny because it took me, I forget, it took me 7 hours, 8 hours to do. And the entire time, I remember Daniel and Ryan were downstairs and they had like just gotten in, they were visiting. And they were just sitting downstairs, you know, watching TV or playing a game. but I kind of like was like, I have to go try a thing. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I have to go try a thing. And they patiently listened to me screaming in rage and agony for 7 hours straight. And then finally when they heard me screaming in joy, and then I came downstairs, it was really cool because they were just like leaning. I remember leaning over the couch and they were just like, yeah, just like fucking, even though they'd been listening to me fail for 7 hours, they were just really happy. Yeah. Anyway, it's late. I gotta get the pups outside.
What the fuck? This is gonna end it like that? Well, I guess that's the end of that chapter then. Support chapter 2. Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad. So that's pretty good. I mean, this game only cost $1, but that was surprisingly well made. I really did enjoy that. That was not bad at all. For what it was, though, in the first chapter, it's not a lot of game, though, because, I mean, I get it, the game is $1, but this might as well be a demo, in my opinion. There was a lot of good stuff here. I love the environment, I love the cartoonish aspect of it, and you open the door for a lot of stuff, but hard to define an entire chapter with that. But either way, still not bad. I liked it a lot. I can't wait to see what happens in chapter 2.
That was weird. So anyway, that is the end of chapter 2. So the save system, if you're gonna kill the player, don't make them backtrack 20 minutes to get back to where they were. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Other than that, this is actually getting really, really interesting. I like it a lot, and there's still a lot of potential here. Now in this one, there were enemies. They could use a little more work, but it was a bit more threatening in this one, and I like that a bit more than the ambiguous darkness. But either way, that is all the time that I have for this episode.
Wondering, oh no, Mark! Where's chapter 3?
I've already played it on a live stream. You'll never find it.
My cheeks will do nothing. Oh, she got it.
Oh, wow. Well, there you have it. That's the end of that. Okay, well, Boris is boned. Ugh.
So what's the difference in the other ending? Like, what's the difference? And also, if there's another ending and it was decided between going one of two paths, that's not a choice. Choices are informed. Like, that's the only thing that I have to say about that is, like, you have to have an informed decision to be able to do anything. Like, it's, but Boris is gone. Probably Boris doesn't die in the other ending. That's probably what it is. Maybe I don't go horribly down and die. That's probably it. Anyway, so I like the game. I really do. I like a lot about this game. I like a lot that there is to see about this game, but there's some things about it that I'm just like, oh man, I wish there was just tweak it just a little bit here and there. A little bit there. Sacrifice Boris? No, sacrifice Boris. I'm fine. I'm totally fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
But the whole concept of everything being ink and everything coming from the goo makes a lot of sense. But that is Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 4. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. It won't be too much longer until Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 5, maybe another few months or so. But this is fun. This one was better than the last one because while we were running around with more purpose. Each one seemed sequential to the next instead of seeming a back and forth constantly. It was like different rooms of a haunted house instead of just a series of events lining up in front of another and then looping back over and over again. This one was good. I liked it. A lot scarier too, especially in the beginning. Later on it got less scary, but in the beginning, that was quite scary. So I don't understand anything. Anything at all. Something don't add up here. I don't know what is happening in this game. I'm really confused. Because I really am. I'm really, honestly, truly trying to piece it together exactly with the story. Because obviously that last sequence, that last sentence, the tell me another one, Uncle Joey, like, all of this, I think the point it's trying to make is that all of this is just ideas come to life in ink. Like, that's the whole thing. These stories, these shows, this movie, this whole universe, they're all part of stories? And in a way, them coming to life is no different than them coming to life in an animation in a video or in an animation in anything like that. But at the same time, it's a little bit confusing, and I'm wondering what the connection is between everything. Because what is the point that they're trying to make? What is the end result out of this, right? Are you just trying to keep it open-ended, so open-ended that be like, anything's possible with the power of imagination? Or are you trying to say that, like, this is the end result of a man so obsessed with his creations that he actually did bring them to life in a perverted quest for building his own empire, and it burned around him? But then again, like, that whole intro sequence of, like, go check out the old workshop, and then... But anyway, all criticisms that I have are not, like... not to be taken, like, in any way sort of, like, with expert opinion. These are just my opinions. Those are just what I would do if I had the ability to do it. But I don't have the ability to do it because I am not necessarily an artist. I am just a player of games. I've never made one myself, but that is just my idea behind it. But this has been Bendy and the Ink Machine. I liked it. I really do. I have a lot of problems with the gameplay, but I've never, ever had a problem with the story. With the idea behind it, the world, the environment. I think it's very original. I think it's really cool to see. I think it brings a lot to the table, and I think there's a lot to be learned from the experience, and I can't wait to see what they make next.
It was good. I think that anything that I could say about it is things that people would already pick up, and there's no need to go too much into them. What I will say, it suffered from some things about gameplay mechanics being introduced, and then it's almost like they had to be shoehorned in here and there where they could be used. The boss fight did take the charging and releasing mechanic, and I did like that. The doors opening is like, whatever, and they gave way too many batteries so that you would never ever even need to use the battery recharge, which is probably only there as a failsafe in case it failed. But also, I never used the ability to zap people with the baton because I needed it for all the doors anyway. But apparently I didn't need a fully charged one. There was many things about the actual, like, game mechanics that I think were a little clunky, and like the weird quest to go back and forward in the world. And I feel like in that spot there should have been the maid there, but the maid wasn't there. I did the maid's side quest too, but all in all, still, it's crafting up a whole universe, and that's tough to do for anybody. And it's trying to, like, build it out and be robust, and that's, like, really something to be proud of when you're done, and the game is released and it's out there for everyone to experience. So I'd say, from that perspective, well done. Like, they did a great job here. Obviously a small team working on it. And, yeah. Better than I've done. I haven't made a game.